Don't miss your chance to see one of the most remarkable shows in musical theater history. Dear Evan Hansen.
You'll be found.
Yeah, I mean, he's an extremely empathetic and emotionally intelligent human being. I think he's always looking at the experience of the people around him as well as his own experience, and he's always trying to be the best person he could be for their experience, and that's why he falls into these traps with everybody, where he becomes or he becomes not himself, or he becomes himself, but the idea of himself that other people want him to be. I think everyone struggles with social anxiety on some level, and if you don't, well, that's, man, lucky for you. But everybody questions themselves and feels like they're an outsider. I mean, the imposter syndrome is real. Everyone feels it all the time, every day. And this show it's like a spotlight on someone going through that exact experience. And so I think everyone can relate to being on the outside looking in or feeling that. Well, I think he's so relatable. Like we were talking about before, about people feeling like they're on the outside looking in. He's the embodiment of that. And so everyone can see that and feel for this person because they've all been through this experience. And so you root for him because you want him to feel better. You know, it's hard to see someone go through that, you know, so deeply. When that album came out, I was absolutely obsessed with it, you know, as every person was. And I definitely got pulled over because I was driving too fast, listening to Waving Through a Window of Her Forever, and I was like, ah, for forever! And then I said, whoop, whoop! And I'm like, oh, shoot, you know. That was fun, but, you know.
That's hilarious.
These songs are so good, and, like, the songs are so complicated and nuanced. It really comes from the old, like, you can tell that they studied this art form because it goes back to the Stephen Sondheim and Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein, where they developed these really intricate musical moments that reflect the emotions of the character. You know, the music is the emotion and the lyrics are the logic. And when you put it together, it creates this visceral experience for the actor and the audience. And being able to go through that every night and explore and find all those moments that Pasek and Paul were intending is amazing, and it's a pleasure and a privilege. I think we all see ourselves in one way, and we forget that the way that we see ourselves is not always the way that people see us. And I think that sometimes we get trapped in our own view of ourselves and we can't see the world around us. And I think that trap is real and it happens so often. I think Evan, you know, that's Waving Through a Window. You know, he sees himself in this awful, he thinks he's the worst person in the world, when in reality he's, you know, he's so sweet and he's loving and empathetic. But it's hard to see that from the inside, you know. It takes people who know you and love you to tell you that, to then believe it.
From the composers of The Greatest Showman and La La Land, Dear Evan Hansen. Don't miss your chance to see one of the most remarkable shows in musical theater history. The groundbreaking, Tony Award-winning Dear Evan Hansen.